Differentiate your company from the competition with eHub Customer Self-Service. eHub, a product of Team Software, gives your customer the ability to log in to a customized website with your company name and branding. On this site, your customer can view invoices, scheduled work, quality assurance results, and much more. They can also request additional services. Requests are routed to the appropriate contact within your company automatically with intelligent workflow features. You can also customize a home page for each one of your clients, posting documents and information related only to their job sites. Learn more about how eHub can set you apart from the competition at teamsoftware.com.
Welcome to Tripodcast, episode 285. It's Monday, April 29th, and we're very excited to have a special guest today. In today's Tripodcast, Patricia Gaffney, the president and CEO of Rainmaker Sales Support, joins Dick to talk about identifying suspects, turning them into prospects, and turning those prospects into customers. Let's listen in.
Welcome to our Tripodcast. Today we're very privileged to have a special guest with us, and we are being joined by Patricia Gaffney, President and CEO of Rainmaker Sales Support, located in St. Louis, Missouri, and welcome to our Tripodcast.
Thanks, Dick. It's always nice to talk with you.
Well, Rainmaker means sales support, so let's talk about sales a little bit, and let's just talk about the process here. You know, what does that really mean? Everybody wants sales, right?
Correct.
They want sales, and what many times they do is just jump out there, I'll take everything, and pretty soon they're doing a 5-day or a 2-day, an all day, and a nighttime, and that probably isn't the best way to go about building a business, is it?
It isn't, as you well know. You know, there's an art to sales, and I think that the sales process is very, very important. It takes a lot of organization. And a lot of people don't realize that the more you put up front, the more you get out of it at the end. So as you call not prospects but suspects.
Right.
The first stage is to identify who you want to target. Whether that the size of the company, the type of the company, the area that it's in. The first thing you have to do is identify who you want as a client.
Who do you want to do business with?
Correct. I mean, I think it's a lot of the time, as you said, people just take anybody, and that can hurt a business as much as it can help it. So identifying the right prospects is really half the battle. And then, of course, turning them into prospects. Telling them about your company, getting in front of them somehow is a big deal. But then, the sales process is a process. You have to call back, you have to touch base, you have to touch them various ways. And, along the way, I think it's really important to identify in some format, 1, 2, 3, ABC, your prospect type. A lot of the janitorial companies, their A is 5 days a week, their B is 3 to 4 days, their C is 1 to 2. Mm-hmm. But, as they go through and identify how that prospect fits them, then they can develop marketing campaigns based solely on that. The A's they can touch once a month. They can stop by. They can drop by chocolate chip cookies. They can do all that stuff that is smart to do. The B's might have a different approach, and the C's might be a twice-a-year postcard. But I think it's really important to identify your prospects and then develop separate marketing campaigns for each segment.
Excellent. Yeah, you're talking to a guy who, when he started his business, went out and I was doing a 7-day-a-week. Car dealer. I was doing after midnight radio stations. I was doing once a week type stuff. Finally threw up my hands and said, I don't like this anymore.
Right.
And that's exactly what we did. We took a long 2-day vacation, my wife and I, sat down in a hotel room and said, we're going to have to figure out how we're going to do this. And that's what we did. We walked away from there after 2 intense days on this lengthy vacation and said, this is the kind of business we want. This is how we want to do it,
Right.
And so what are some of the ways now? There are all kinds of ways that, and I do that somewhat in my book, Selling Contract Cleaning Services. You go through direct mail, which is kind of expensive. You can go through, all kinds of ways. So what are some of the ways that, you really go to market?
Well, as you said, I of course have more personal experience in prospecting via telephone.
Right.
That's what my company does. But I really believe that every prospect has to be touched in numerous ways. You always hear about sales touches, but I think that A mailing is smart, an email is smart, a call that sets up an appointment is smart. I read someplace years ago, and I'm probably paraphrasing some sales seminar I was in, but that people respond to the 5 senses. Some people have to read something, some people have to hear, some people, if you go like this, you have their business. So I think that's really important to try to touch your prospects as broadly as you can in as many ways as you can.
Well, one of the things that you do and do so effectively with your company is telesales, of course.
Sure.
And that's how you and I got acquainted many
Right.
years ago. Have you seen any change in that over the years as far as the prospects and the suspects that you call on? Are you getting like more voicemails? Are you getting are you having to work harder for your clients to get in the door?
That's a great question. My stats have gone up over time. I think that, I don't know. There's a lot I think emails are overdone. I think some personal approaches are so refreshing these days. One of the things we offer is what I call a proximity report. So if you have a business in one building, you can ask us to solicit everybody else in that building.
Excellent.
And even if we get appointments, we get some appointments with those people, but if you're in that building, we can give you the report. And so now you're armed with the contact name. So instead of walking in and saying, hey, who handles your janitorial, who handles your cleaning here, you know that Dave does. And that way you can go in and just ask for Dave. So I think that a lot of the data that we gather is now, I know how to help my clients more use the data that we gather to be more successful.
Yeah. And I think in using a telesales company like Rainmaker, one of the things that I found very helpful was using a company that knows our business. I try to telemarket. I'm doing a little infomercial.
Thank you. I was trying not to be, shameless plug, but
But I used a company or two before I used Rainmaker, and I was teaching them how to make the call to my client. And I said, I can make the call to my client. So actually Patricia has a major base of clients in this industry, and like I said, I don't want this to sound too commercialized, but you do a great job for that. And I do want to thank you for joining us and giving us a little bit of insight to our audience on how to go about that process.
Perfect.
It isn't that we should go after everything, right?
Right, it is not. Yeah.
Good.
Thanks so much.
And thank you for listening and watching.
You've been listening to a Tripodcast, short video and audio presentation about important topics in our industry. If you're a current subscriber to the Tripodcast, thank you. We appreciate it. If you're not yet a subscriber, please check it out. It's free and it's easy. Come to www.tripodcast.com, enter your email address on the right-hand column, and click subscribe. We'll send you out a new Tripodcast every Monday morning.